Alright everybody, welcome to episode 9 of HARUNA. Today guys, we have made the main street, and man, what a main street this one is. Alright, so first things first, let's just get straight into it. Same style video as last time. I felt like this was a lot easier to digest and also to produce. So um, right off the bat, we're just going to start with our flat rides. So starting with the cube and moving on, I found a spreadsheet online that has the optimal ride sequences to maximize prestige and rating for the flat rides. So I've gone ahead and done that for each of them. But yeah, moving into the main street, let me go ahead and just turn this off. So you can see the Venetian Carousel is 669 for prestige, which is pretty good for the Venetian Carousel, honestly. So moving on to the main street. First thing you notice, it is very Main Street looking, meaning it is mostly consisting of French architecture. And while this is an Italian theme park, I still wanted the main street to look like a main street, so ergo the French architecture. So let's start off with this first building. It was inspired by the Wells Fargo Bank in San Francisco. Very popular building if you're familiar with that. It's got a lot more of an interesting shape or structure. It's kind of rounded and wavy, and I did not want to make that in Planet Coaster because that did not sound fun. So instead, we've got a straight building, and it fits for the most part. And since it was a bank originally, I put an ATM here just to kind of as an ode for that. And next, we've got this building that was designed based on a building in Rodeo Drive in LA. So if you guys can imagine that. I'm not sure what the building was, but that's what it was inspired by. Next we enter to the heart of the main street, which I have called Plaisance Market. I'm not sure where I heard that word, but I really liked it, and it just means pleasant in French. It's also a name, a girl's name in French, so Plaisance. So if you can imagine, pleasant market. And to make it into a market, I need to try to include lots of clutter and stalls and shops. So first off, we've got this live performance little section here. I just ended up using the animatronic pieces, attaching some speakers, a piano, and this guy's just standing here with a gun. But he's supposed to be like a singer or something. So see, we've got some backup singers, main singer, and a pianist. And then we've got these speakers playing just regular music, and I feel like it adds a lot of atmosphere to the park. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the animatronics in this game are freaking like tall as heck, like NBA players. See, this guy's like normal height. Look how huge they are. It's I never noticed this until now. Alright, so moving on. Other side of the market, we've got some stalls, and then some vendors. They're kind of selling some weird stuff. Got some cheese, some flowers. Kind of limited here by the base game items, but it's honestly not too bad. The next building right here is a little stall, and it is called Liz's Bakery, home of the world famous custard buns. And Liz is a great friend of mine who makes delicious custard buns, so that is why she receives a shout out in this park. So it is just a Missy Good, I believe, bakery stall. And yeah, we've got a sign, Liz's Bakery at HARUNA, and we've got the the menu here. So very interesting. And we've got a seating area outside leading straight to the Safro Bridge. So you see here it says, now entering Plaisance Market now. Originally I was going to call it, Venetian Plaza and have very opulent Vatican City type of buildings, but I shied away from that. I decided I like a different style instead, which you can see here. So let's continue this way down the main street. The next building we've got is a pizza place. So I know it says Street Fox Coffee, but that's just because I really like the signs. But this building is actually Susie's Pizza, and Susie is my other dog. So if you remember from the beginning, I made Bar Geo. Geo was one of my dogs, and Susie's the other dog. So now Susie gets her own restaurant, and this is Susie's Pizza. So it's a very French style building, of course. Um, and this one actually has an interior, so you can head in. We've got a menu on the outside as well as on the inside, and 2 vendor stands, a small interior with tiny booths, ceiling fan, and a TV with Djokovic's gold medal match on there. You know, gotta have that on, and it's got a little mount, so it looks pretty good. Honestly, really proud of this interior. I don't do interiors that often, and started adding speakers because the ambience it gives is just really good. So we got an outside seating area for this restaurant. Moving on to Main Street, got some planters, and then we've got this building, which was ripped straight from Disney World. If you can tell, it's got these little sort of like molding patterns that you used to see on the Disney World Main Street buildings. They're also in the French style. I remember these types of things, they'd be like more rectangular shaped, and I'd see them a lot on I think it was Shy Guy's Main Street sets from Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, if any of you guys played that and used those pieces. I remember the moldings, they were very iconic. So that's what I wanted to recreate with the Art Deco shapes. It kind of looks weird, but from far away it looks good. So that's all that really matters. We've got elevated paths up until 3 different vendors, and these are the different pip shots. So we've got food, 1, 2, 3 foods, 3 drinks on the main street, and I think that's enough. Because moving on to the next building, we've got a restroom. So we've got a restroom block and a first aid block in the same building, and that rounds off the main street. So overall, pretty cohesive look, I'd say. Usually main streets kind of have this shape, but on both sides of the park. I will have another main street for this area of the park in a different architectural style, but I think everything was super cramped, so I did not want to have 2 entire walls of buildings, because at this point, we're playing Building Simulator with how many buildings I've made in this park. Buildings compared to rides, but that's just how I see the park. I want it to look very much like a city, so that's how I've been progressing. So speaking of progressing, let's move further down the main street. Next we enter the newest area, which I didn't read off the directory, but it's called Duomo Plaza, and if you saw, this area now is called HARUNA Minor. So if you can imagine this this valley between the river, or with the river in between, is called HARUNA Valley. This side would be called HARUNA Minor, and then this is HARUNA Major because it's taller. So this is why this area is called HARUNA Minor. So yeah, like I said, Duomo Plaza. Duomo means cathedral in Italian. I guess it can also mean dome. So I think the language uses them interchangeably, and specifically referring to cathedrals with large domes such as this one. And as I said in the last episode, I was just going to continue this building, but I kind of dissected it, or decomposed it rather. So the original building, like I said, very long. The dome was attached to this, and the tower was attached to the main part, but I kind of deconstructed it here. And I think for my part here, it looks pretty good for its uses. In a different world, I did attach the building like properly how it's supposed to look, and I think it looks like outstanding. So if you guys want that, I maybe can release it on the workshop. However, it consists of so many pieces, so it would have to be its own park. I can't just release workshop items as like a one building type thing, because there's several buildings that consist of these, so it'd have to be a whole park. But if anyone's interested in that, I can maybe drop it into the workshop, so let me know. So entering Duomo Plaza, we've got tower, pretty nice tower, the main cathedral that we've covered last time, and the dome, the centerpiece of the entire area. So before we get to the dome, we'll look at the plaza. We've got some decent planters. It kind of switched it up. Different thing than using the default planter design in the main game. I just used roof cornice pieces, and overall it looks okay. Next we've got this giant plinth that I sort of copied around to keep the whole area sort of as a cohesive look. So first we've got this statue, and it's inspired by a statue in Rome. I'm not quite sure which one it is, but it's got this kind of look, and then on the top there's a bronze statue, and the bronze statue I went with was the jester statue because of all the things in the game, it's the least ridiculous looking, even though it's still pretty ridiculous. But if you've seen the other ones, they're you can't even pretend that's realistic, so just have to go with this. And yeah, I copied this around, replaced the top with big planters, threw the Italian cypress on there, and kind of threw them around a little bit. So next, you'll notice a big change. Instead of the wall going completely around the garden, it instead has a bridge here and an opening. So now there's a second entrance into the lower area of the park. From this side it says, do not enter, and then now entering Duomo Plaza. From the other side it says, do not enter, now entering HARUNA Minor. So it's a sort of one-way thing where you enter on the right and exit on the left. Sort of have some ropes to sort of signify that. And then another advertisement for Avanti Vineyards. So if you continue that way, you'll hit the vineyard. I also place speakers everywhere. Change the vibe, change the music, so this area feels completely different than over there. Yeah, and another thing, I replaced, or removed rather, these. I kind of had them spammed everywhere on the railing, and I put them only here along the arch pieces now, because the whole thing used to look like that, and it was a bit messy to look at. So instead I just cleaned it up, and I will say it's a lot better to look at. And then I added another bridge, which is the transition into the next area. So we'll see here, now entering Avanti Falls, which is the next area. Now entering Duomo Plaza on this side. And this path will lead off into the next area of the park. See, I wasn't going to leave this completely empty. Maybe you guys have thought that. I was just going to leave it there. But there's so much park beyond this hill, so it'd be a complete waste of space to just do nothing there. So I want another area of the park there. It won't be too big, but it won't be small either. And I still want the coaster to feel included in the park, so that's why I did that instead of just having it be a one-off thing on the side. So that'll probably be the target of my next episode. Going along this path up top, there's a small bridge that leads to the dome. As of right now, there's no entrance, but I don't think people are meant to go over here. It's just for looks, as of right now. So it might change in the future, but that's just how it is right now. Let's look at the directory. So like I said, Avanti Falls, HARUNA Minor, back to Plaisance Market, and across the bridge will then be Yuka Foothills, which is the official name I've come up with for this area over here. Yuka Foothills implies that this would be Mount Yuka, because this is still Japan. Despite the European architectural styles, it's called HARUNA because this is still in Japan. In fact, this area over here is going to be Japanese. If you see in the roof over here, it's Japanese style, so be on the lookout for that. So yeah, keeping with the theme of being in Japan, this area is now Yuka Foothills. So before we cross the bridge, we've got a little shaded area over here, and then the path around the cathedral body just goes here. So yeah, we'll cross the bridge now. One thing you'll notice is I cleaned up the landscaping, so we've now got rocks and bushes everywhere. And I wanted to sort of make this as unlikely that someone would get into the water as possible because it is very dangerous. As you'll see from this side, we've got a waterfall. So heading down towards the riverside, we've now got a total of 4 bridges interacting with this area over here, and I think it's just very scenic, and I really enjoy this sightline. Maybe this tree is too tall, so I'll replace it with a shorter tree. But we've got this new bridge here. It was very inspired by this one here, except it's a bit taller, and I changed up the base. But the top is pretty much identical. So you'll see the signs match accordingly. We've got now entering Yuka Foothills, and on the other side, now entering Safiro Square, or Safiro Square, however you pronounce that, not too sure. The train line has now been completed through this area, so instead of just floating rails, it now has a solid foundation until the bridge, which goes over the waterfall. Has some more supporters on this side and enters the underneath of this bridge, which is a small tunnel. And then I've got another tower on this side of the path, and I'm not too sure about this being on this side. It's a bit symmetrical. That's what I was going for, having it like this, but I wanted to have a matching sight line, because if you can imagine from here, you can sort of see it straight here, but a better sight line would be here. But that doesn't quite work out if I want this ride here, so we'll have to figure out what I do here. Maybe I move the ride. So yeah, that'll be probably configured next episode or the one after that. Because if we go on this side, this view with this tower matches perfectly, and I really love this view down here, especially at night. So yeah, this isn't completed yet. I'm not sure if I want to do a terrace with a lookout view, or if I just want to wall it off and just call it. I'm not too sure exactly yet what I do, but it will be figured out into the next episode. And then this bridge here, I don't think I'll have this actually be here. I just wanted to see what it would look like, and let you guys see that I'm sort of like actively brainstorming with ideas. I think the one bridge onto the island is fine, so yeah. Moving on, that's pretty much it. I want to show off the park at nighttime really quick, but before I do, let's take one last look at this corridor. Tried to make it as interesting as possible, because there's no buildings that could fit on in this area, so I had to sort of spam clutter. So we have benches, light posts, pots, flags, you know, everything to just try to make this area look interesting. Why are there 2? That should not have 2. Yeah, this should not be here. We'll just throw this here for now. Yeah. Oh, we'll see the train going through. So it's a very interesting look, and we'll change the timing to nighttime, so we can get a look at this. We've got the waterfall illuminated. I didn't light the back of this building because I want to pump this episode out as fast as possible, so I'll do that in the future. But yeah, the ambiance is very, very spectacular at this point here. Just looking down the main street, looking at that large dome, it's just very it's very massive. I can't really put it into words. It's just very dominating in the skyline of the park, much in a similar fashion as the entrance building. So, being the central area of the central focal point of the Italian section of the park, I think it does a very good job of that. So as you can see, the area as a whole is kind of rounding up, almost completed actually. Once I get Avanti Falls in here, it'll be complete. And well, we've got this area too, but not sure what I want to put there yet. So yeah, as a whole, this area looks really good. The lighting, I tried a different style than I did with the other parts of the cathedral. The front's got the Italian flag sort of lighting, and I'm not too sure how I feel about it, but I do like it because it stands out a lot, because you'll see everything just has an orange glow, and then this just really pops. And then the cathedral then pops for the opposite reason, because the lighting is very sparse on it. So whereas this is painting with light, this one kind of had a painting with darkness sort of approach as I lit it up. So I try to use lots of vertical lighting to accentuate the vertical lines, and I think I did a good job at making it look very tall because of that. So yeah, that's my mindset. And then yeah, here's what the top of the building looks like. Here's this angle. Here's this angle. Gotta light the back, especially for the cinematic. I'll light the back, but I just wanted to record this. But yeah, I think that wraps up today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed, and be on the lookout for the next one. If you did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and lets me know that you guys are enjoying this series. I'm enjoying this series for one, so you know, regardless, I'm gonna make these videos because I'm really having a lot of fun just pouring my heart out onto this canvas of Planet Coaster for you guys. That was, why to get all philosophical, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's all for me. I hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one. Take care, and bye bye.